This video presents the Pmvt approach, an innovation of the FP7 Rasen project, and its application on the Medipedia case study. The Rasen project has been underway since October 2012 and will complete in October 2015. It addresses risk assessment, legal compliance, and testing within the area of cybersecurity. It brings together 4 industrial partners: Every, provider of the tabled bank case study; Software AG, a use case and technology provider; Smartesting, provider of the test generator used in Pmvt; and InfoWorld, provider of the Medipedia case study. These 4 industrials work together with 4 academic partners and research institutes. Pmvt, leader of the Rasen project, and expert in risk assessment; the University of Oslo, for its legal compliance experience; Fraunhofer Focus, for their fuzzing expertise; and Pmvt ST, for their model-based testing expertise. The Medipedia web portal is a Romanian health system designed and maintained by the company InfoWorld. It has over 40,000 registered users and 150,000 weekly visitors. Medipedia provides articles and news that are relevant for the prevention, treatment and control of diseases. Users can access the portal via one of the 3 roles: public user, registered user and medical personnel. Each role has clearly defined rights and limitations. Everyone can access the public section that includes the articles section together with medicine brochures, suppliers and a medical forum where they can interact with other users or the registered physicians. In addition, registered users can access their electronic health record. Medical data are added to a user's record either by organizations that are interconnected with Medipedia, or by the user himself. Physicians can access the patient's medical history in a centralized manner during the patient encounter, with no time or location constraints. The Pmvt testing process aims to make interrelated and synergetic risk management and security testing activities. The starting point of the Pmvt approach consists of identifying risks and representing them using a risk models of the CORAS approach, which is developed by Pmvt. A CORAS model is a directed acyclic graph that allows to represent threat scenarios through the definition of assets, threats on these assets, and the vulnerability types associated to each threat. In addition, each threat has a probability and a potential severity, allowing for a prioritization amongst the identified threats. Each threat scenario of the CORAS model is linked to a security test pattern defining the testing procedure to detect the threat in the application under test. For Medipedia, 3 threat scenarios were selected based on their priority: 1 for SQL injections, 1 for cross-site request forgeries, and the last one for cross-site scripting. Security test patterns express in a textual manner the testing procedures associated to potential threat scenarios. In order to automatically generate test cases, the informal security test patterns have been translated into executable test purposes, grouped in a catalog. A test purpose is a high-level expression that formalizes the test procedure of a given security test pattern. The objective is to automatically generate the expected test cases with model-based testing techniques. Depending on the identified risks, the corresponding test purposes are automatically extracted from the catalog in order to drive the test generation process. To test for the vulnerability types identified and selected during a risk assessment, 6 test purposes were applied on Medipedia: 3 for SQL injections, 2 for cross-site request forgeries, and 1 for cross-site scripting. Model-based testing is performed using a UML behavioral and environmental test model to automatically generate abstract test cases. The Pmvt approach requires a model designed using a domain-specific modeling language, called DASTML, which has been especially created during the Rasen project. DASTML enables the modeling of the global structure of a web application, the available pages and their restrictions, the available actions on each page, and the user inputs of each action potentially used to inject attack vectors. To address the Medipedia case study, 25 pages have been modeled, containing a total of 20 actions, 47 user inputs, and 28 navigation links. The test generation process, supported by the test generator from Smartesting called Certify It, consists of instantiating the vulnerability test purposes on the test model of the application under test. To achieve that, the test model and the test purposes are both translated into elements and data directly computable by Certify It. This process is completely automated, and may be triggered by a single click. Once test generation is complete, the generated abstract test cases are finally exported into the execution environment as unit test cases. 85 test targets were derived from Metipedia, and corresponding test cases were computed in 3 hours. However, the generated test cases are abstract and cannot be executed as they are. To bridge the gap, the test generator produces a file containing the prototype of each operation of the application and links the abstract structures and data of the test cases to the concrete ones. The test automation engineer is in charge of implementing each operation and data of this interface. Furthermore, the fuzz test data generator Fuzzino, provided by Fraunhofer Focus, automatically determines the attack vectors to generate by evaluating the security test strategies applied to the operation arguments. Finally, each abstract fuzz test case defines an executable unit test case, which can be executed by a unit environment supporting the management of the test suite and its computation on the application under test to assign the execution verdict. The obtained test results are then gathered in order to be displayed in a dashboard that computes various security testing metrics. Security testing metrics are a concept for the transfer of information from security testing to risk assessment. In total, execution on Metipedia took about 45 minutes for 3,316 test cases. Test results shows the existence of 2 cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. This video has presented an overview of the Pmvt approach, which consists of generating security test cases by applying an MBT approach that is supported by the Smartesting Certify It tool, and driving the generation process using vulnerability test patterns that formalize the flaws identified during a risk assessment. For more information about this innovation and the research results of the Rasen project, please visit the project website that features all publications inherent to the project, including scientific articles published on this work. Thank you for watching and see you soon on the Rasen website.